Part 137. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1361. Fu Nanli also smiled perfunctorily and introduced Wen Qiao, "This is my girlfriend, the president of Nanqiao Company and AF Club." Dare to neglect his girlfriend? His Qiao is also successful in his career, but this Xiao Lianjun is really rude. Xiao Lianjun just nodded, "Hello." Wen Qiao thought, "Is my position not high enough? It looks like we have to keep climbing." "Hello Mr. Xiao, I take the liberty to ask if you have a fourth son." But Xiao Lianjian's face suddenly darkened. "Where did Miss Wen hear about this? I have always only had 3 sons. Wen Qiao sensed the other party's displeasure and became more cautious with his words. "I just listened to what others said." Xiao Lianjian's eyelids trembled. "Then you must have heard wrong. I, Xiao Lianjun, have 3 sons and 4 daughters, but I don't have a fourth son." Fu Nanli held Wen Qiao's hand, motioned her to calm down, and said to Xiao Lianjun, "I have one more important thing to do when I come here today. I want to cooperate with Mr. Xiao. I heard that Mr. Xiao intends to enter the communications industry. I wanted to win the Nordic market. I can cooperate with Mr. Xiao. This is a big business cooperation, and if the Fu family invites bids, there will definitely be a more suitable family to bid than the Xiao family." Wen Qiao frowned. The Xiao family was definitely not the best partner. Fu Nanli chose to cooperate with the Xiao family entirely for her sake. The sacrifice was a bit high. She held Fu Nanli's hand with her backhand and signaled that he didn't have to do this. Fu Nanli patted her hand gently. When Xiao Lianjun heard what Fu Nanli said, his expression immediately softened. "Does Mr. Fu really want to cooperate with our Xiao family?" With the Fu family's endorsement, the Xiao family's entry into Northern Europe will definitely be more effective with half the effort. "Yes, does Mr. Xiao have any intention in this regard? Who would have trouble with money?" Xiao Lianjun said happily, of course, this is our honor." Fu Nanli didn't mention anything about the 4th young master of the Xiao family. He just observed the Xiao family while chatting with Xiao Lianjun about work. There are 7 children in the Xiao family. The eldest son is 28 and the eldest daughter is 26. Except for these 2 who are married, the others are still single. While Xiao Lianjun was chatting with him, several children came in to look for Xiao Lianjun, and occasionally they could be heard chatting. After talking for 2 hours, Xiao Lianjun respectfully sent him to the door. Fu Nanli shook hands with him. "We will make an appointment to discuss the detailed cooperation plan later." Okay. After getting in the car, Fu Nanli's expression turned cold. It seems that the 4th son of the Xiao family is a secret that cannot be mentioned. Wen Qiao agreed. It was true. After the Lin Lang incident last time, she would no longer suspect that He Ziwei's intelligence was wrong. The Xiao family must have 4 sons, but there was something hidden about this 4th son. Xiao Lianjun hid him well. The outside world had no idea that the Xiao family had a 4th son. So, what's the secret? Don't think too much now. Once I have business dealings with him, I will gradually discover the secrets of the Xiao family. In the evening, Fu Nanli took Wen Qiao to a dinner hosted by his aunt's fashion magazine. Yamin Chun said to Fu Nanli, "The best actress Yao Kewen will also come tonight." Yao Kewen is a veteran actress. She is 45 years old and has won a Grand Slam Best Actress. Last year, she and Jun Ling were recruited by He Ziwei to Huihe Company. Yao Kewen wore a black dress tonight, and her whole person had an outstanding temperament. As soon as she entered the infield, many little stars were competing for photos. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1362. Yao Kewen gave Wen Qiao face and came over to chat with her for a few words. After all, she was the boss of a neighboring company. Because the death of the old man of the Xiao family is a hot news recently, everyone will chat with each other when they meet. There were two little stars chatting next to Wen Xiao. Most of Mr. Xiao's property was given to his eldest son, Xiao Lianjun. That is, Xiao Lianjun is very capable, and his two younger brothers are no match for him. Wen Xiao noticed that Yao Kewen's face suddenly changed, and the hand holding the cup was trembling a little. She smiled and said, "I'll go there first." Wen Xiao nodded, "Yeah." Wen Xiao waved to Lu Yuyu, who stumbled over and said, "What's wrong?" "Yao Kewen, do you understand?" Lu Yuyu flipped her hair. "Isn't the name of the encyclopedia of the entertainment industry a waste of money? Get some knowledge." Yao Yinghao, her background is not very good, her family is very poor. In her early years, her mother was a singer in a small town dance hall. She followed her mother to such places since she was a child. She is very knowledgeable, beautiful, and her singing is sweet. He was discovered to be a star at the age of 16. Her career is going relatively smoothly. There are many rumors outside that she relied on men to get to the top in her early years. However, because she has a tragic family background and is very worldly, she has a pretty good reputation in the circle. Because she came from a poor family, she was obsessed with becoming a rich man. I heard that she had talked to many wealthy men, but they all disliked her background, and finally let it go, and finally married an actor in the industry. After that, she gave up and lived a good life with her husband. She gave birth to a son and a daughter, and now her life is pretty good. Well, his husband is really awesome. Of course, she is also a Grand Slam Best Actor. In fact, she is best like this now. They are equal. How can it be so easy to get into a wealthy family? If you go in, you will be insulted. Look at the faces of your parents-in-law, sisters-in-law, etc., they will look down on her, that is, on the surface glamorous. Wen Xiao said nothing. Lu Yuyu hugged her shoulders and smiled ambiguously, "It's best for you to be like this. Young Master Fu dotes on you so much. Your future mother-in-law is also open-minded and enthusiastic. Your future grandfather has also been taken back by you. There is no sister-in-law or sister-in-law yet, Lu or something, perfect." Wen Xiao nodded her head, "Why can any topic be brought to me?" Lu Yuyu pouted, "Tell the truth. Then do you know which rich men she has had relationships with?" Lu Yuyu whispered, "Aren't there 4 major families in Haikan? The Fu family, the Zhou family, the Shen family, and the Mu family. Except for Fu Nanli's father, the head of the other 3 major families, this Yao Ying, I have a history with them." Wen Xiao sighed, "This senior's love history is really rich, and he has not been jointly dealt with by the wives of the 3 major families. Now he can still navigate the entertainment industry with ease, which is really not an ordinary skill. So, do Yao Kewen and Xiao Lianjun, the president of the Xiao family, have any history?" Lu Yuyu raised her eyebrows, "The Xiao family? The Xiao family is indeed very powerful, right behind the 4 major families, and low-key. To be honest, their family is the most traditional, the most like the old society, and the most mysterious, but I really haven't heard of any past between Yao Kewen and Xiao Lianjun." Wen Xiao was thoughtful. Lu Yuyu said, "How can you ask this properly? It's nothing, I'm just curious about Yao Kewen. An actress of her age can still maintain such high popularity. She is doing well in both film and television fields. She is really a powerful person." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1363. Lu Yuyu, that's right. It's just that 1 year ago, she suddenly disappeared for more than a year and went to the UK to further her studies. Otherwise, her current achievements would have been achieved long ago. Have you been away for more than a year? When? About 14 or 5 years ago, this has become one of the 4 major unsolved cases on the forum. Everyone is discussing whether she went to further her studies or to do something else. What's the meaning? Because she said that she studied at a university in the UK. Although the internet information was not as developed as it is now 14 or 5 years ago, many things can be certified, and there are people who graduated from that university on the internet, but people say that they have never. I saw her in school. Wen Qiao looked suspicious. Really? Isn't it true? She went to England for further study for 1.5 years before returning to the entertainment industry. After another half a year, she got married. Wen Qiao lowered her eyes, and her intuition told her that when Yao Kewen heard the Xiao family gossip just now, her expression was not normal, and she seemed to be deliberately avoiding it. She suspected that there was something between Yao Kewen and Xiao Lianjun. But even Lu Yuyu, the king of gossip, didn't know about this matter, so there must be no news about it on the internet. If you want to know what happened that year, you probably need to find out what she did when she went to England. In order to ensure that Yao Kewen and Xiao Lianjun were indeed on something, Wen Qiao planned to test them further. She whispered a few words to Lu Yuyu, and Lu Yuyu was a little confused. Why do you say that? I can't tell you now, so just go tell her. Lu Yuyu held a glass of champagne in front of Yao Kewen and said eagerly, the Fu family is holding a dinner party next week. Is teacher Yao free to attend? Yao Kewen smiled slightly. Where? There is a cruise ship at the airport and a cruise party will be held. Many people will attend, including the Ji family, the Chu family, the Lu family in Kyoto, the Xiao family and some popular celebrities and politicians. When she heard about the Xiao family, Yao Kewen's expression changed slightly. Then I may not have time to attend. What's wrong? Is it inconvenient for you to attend the same occasion as someone else? I'll tell Mr. Fu and let him adjust for you. Yao Kewen waved her hand. No, I do have something to do next week. Please help me say sorry to Mr. Fu. Lu Yuyu smiled. That's such a pity. Lu Yuyu quietly returned to Wen Qiao and whispered about the situation just now. I saw it really. When the Xiao family was mentioned, Yao Kewen's face changed drastically and she quickly calmed down. Wen Qiao nodded. I understand. Could she have had something with Xiao Lianjun before? If so, how could she hide it so well? Don't say anything to the outside world, it will be bad for others' reputation. Lu Yuyu curled her lips. Do you really think I'm a big talker and say everything? After Fu Nanli finished talking about work and went to Wen Qiao with a glass of wine, he saw the actress Yao Kewen walking towards her. Mr. Fu, I'm really sorry. I can't attend the cruise dinner you are holding next week. Thank you very much your hospitality. Fu Nanli looked puzzled. Cruise dinner? Yes, you just asked the second lady of the Lu family to come over and invite me. Just as Fu Nanli was about to speak, someone took his arm and answered for him. Since teacher Yao can't attend, forget it. It's really a pity. Wen Qiao blocked Fu Nanli's mouth before he could speak. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1364. Yao Kewen smiled. Yes, it's really a pity. After Yao Kewen left, Fu Nanli held her waist and went to a corner. What's going on? When will I have a cruise dinner? Wen Qiao grabbed his wrist and spoke softly, because I want to test whether Yao Kewen and Xiao Lianjun are related. As soon as she heard that the Xiao family was going, Yao Kewen rejected the Fu family's invitation, which shows that she is very unwilling to be with the Fu family. People from the Xiao family show up at consenting occasions. Fu Nanli pinched her waist. You're just borrowing my name without discussing it with me. Aren't you afraid of revealing your secret? You have been talking about work just now, and I don't want to disturb you. Fu Nanli took out his mobile phone and made a call. Well, Fu Cheng, help me organize a dinner next week. Wen Qiao touched his neck guiltily. No need. Where is the address you mentioned? Cruise dinner at the airport. Well, let's have a cruise dinner at the airport. I'll send you the invitation list later. After that, he hung up the phone. Wen Qiao looked at him with a smile. There's no need to really hold a cruise ship dinner. It'll cost a lot. You already mentioned the cruise ship dinner. If we don't organize it, wouldn't Yao Wen doubt your and my intentions? I should say a small dinner party, a wine tasting or something. The cruise dinner is nothing. After the dinner that night, Wen Qiao went to Fu Nanli's residence and began to search for information online. Have you ever heard that there was a relationship between Xiao Lianjun and Yao Wen? Fu Nanli chuckled. Do you think I would hear about such a thing? Wen Qiao's fingers flew quickly on the keyboard. Don't worry, I'm asking more. There is a lot of news about Yao Wen on the internet, and a lot about Xiao Lianjun, but there is no news about the two of them together. She checked the time when Yao Wen went to England for further study, and it was 15 years ago. At that time, she was already with her current husband. They had made their relationship public at that time, but they were not married yet. Wen Qiao hacked into several airlines to search for Yao Wen's flight records. In June of that year, she happened to be on a Dongchuan Airlines flight to Edinburgh without her boyfriend. Yao Wen stayed in Edinburgh for 14 months before returning to Haikan at the end of August the following year. She checked Xiao Lianjun again and found that Xiao Lianjun went to Edinburgh 6 times in the same year, almost once a month. She asked Fu Nanli, does the Xiao family have any property in Edinburgh, England? Edinburgh is not a popular city like London. If there is no industry, it would be a bit strange to go there once a month. Fu Nanli called Fu Cheng and inquired. He said that the Xiao family did not have any industry in Europe. Then he flew to Edinburgh every month 15 years ago. Did any of his family members stay there to recuperate? No, before their father passed away, he was recuperating in Canada and did not go to Europe. Then it's no wonder she associates it with Yao Wen. Fu Nanli's cell phone rang suddenly, and Ji Xianzheng called. Nanli, you have to come to the company quickly. What's wrong? People from the technical department reported that the company's system was invaded by unknown hackers, and they didn't know what the other party's purpose was. Fu Nanli looked at Wen Qiao, holding his phone. Ji Xianzheng said that Dongchuan's system has been hacked. Do you know this? Wen Qiao, it's me. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1365. Fu Nanli rolled his eyes at her, pressed his eyebrows, and said to the person on the other end of the phone, well, it should be fine. You don't need to make a fuss. I can't help much if I go. Let the people in the technical department take care of it. I'll call the police. Don't call the police, it's not a big deal. Nanli, why are you hesitating? Fu Nanli coughed lightly. I asked someone to go up and check some information. Who knew she was used to this method? I gave her a lesson. You? Are you asking people to check information? Hack my system? Well, sorry, I'll give her a good scolding. Who is it? Do you have someone with this style of doing things? Forget it, stop asking, hang up first. Wen Qiao looked at him with a guilty look on his face. I'm used to it. Fu Nanli waved, come here. Wen Qiao walked over and was pulled into his arms. Did you know that Ji Xianzheng almost called the police? It's useless to call the police. Nothing can be found on me, and I didn't do anything bad, so I just checked some information. Are you still very proud? Wen Qiao raised his hands. I'm not proud, and I won't do it next time. Fu Nanli carried the person upstairs. That's Xian Zhen's company. Tell me what information you want to check, and I won't let you check it. Could it be that next time you want to check Zhonghuan's information, you will also rely on the black system? When Xiao was thrown on the bed, I didn't know that Yao Kewen was flying Dongchuan Airlines at first. After I found out it was Dongchuan Airlines, I entered your company's system. Smoothly. Well, not anymore. Although she admitted her mistake promptly and with a good attitude, Master Fu still punished her severely. Finally, he pinched her face and said, I promised Xian Zheng to teach the person who hacked his system a lesson, so. When Xiao's voice was hoarse, if you use power for personal gain, did you tell Jizhen Zhen that you would teach me a lesson in this way? I think this method is the most effective. When Xiao shrank her neck. It really worked. She had a better memory. I think Xiao Lianjun and Yao Kewen should have had something before. Do you still have the energy to talk to others? As a result, classmate Wen Xiao was taught by Master Fu again, and he no longer had the energy to criticize others. The business cooperation process between the Fu family and the Xiao family went very quickly. Fu Nanli did not do anything without reward. This could not only help Wen Xiao find out about the four sons of the Xiao family, but also further expand his business territory in Europe. It's really worth the investment. The next day, Fu Nanli made an appointment with Xiao Lianjun for dinner. At the dinner table, Fu Nanli asked Xiao Lianjun, Mr. Xiao didn't have any property in Europe before, right? Of course not, otherwise we wouldn't need Mr. Fu's help to open up the market. What about the UK? There isn't one in the UK either. Xiao Lianjun lowered his eyes and cut the steak. Isn't Britain also European? Of course it doesn't. Fu Nanli observed Xiao Lianjian's expression and nodded. Well, there are some pretty good cities in the UK, such as London and Liverpool, but I prefer Edinburgh. Where is Mr. Xiao? Xiao Lianjun paused while cutting the steak and looked up at him. Well, Edinburgh is pretty good. About 6 years ago, my grandfather developed real estate there. There are currently many properties with the surname Fu there. Has Mr. Xiao considered buying property there? Xiao Lianjun weighed it in his mind and said, I also own 2 properties there. If the Fu family has suitable houses in the future, they can also consider buying a batch. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1366. Really? Does Mr. Xiao also have property in Edinburgh? Where is it? Southside. When did Mr. Xiao buy a property there? It was probably more than 10 years ago. It was so long ago that I don't even remember it. Why buy a house in Edinburgh? There doesn't seem to be much room for appreciation there. Xiao Lianjun smiled. Originally, I wanted the old man to recuperate there, so I bought 2 villas. Later, the old man said that he preferred Canada. The vast land and sparsely populated areas are better, so the houses there were vacant. Mr. Xiao is really filial. The old man has passed away. Please express your condolences. The two talked about some cooperation matters and had a pleasant dinner. After Xiao Lianjun left, Wen Xiao walked in from the private room next door. Fu Nanli said, he bought 2 villas in Edinburgh more than 10 years ago. Wen Xiao took out his computer and said, I'll check the properties under his name. Is it a black system again? Otherwise, can you convince Xiao Lianjun to confess his house purchase record? Fu Nanli raised an eyebrow and said, you're right, I'll take care of it for you if something happens. Don't worry, nothing will happen. I was too hasty last night. Because it's your cousin's company, I don't have to be so thoughtful. Her screen blacked out and she started to check the properties under Xiao Lianjian's name. After looking at it, she realized that he was really a rich man. He had so many properties that her eyes were dazzled. There were properties all over the world. He was worthy of being a rich man in the upper class. But after searching, I found that there is no real estate in Edinburgh, UK. Wen Qiao also found the names and ID numbers of his wives, entered them one by one, and found that the last wife had 2 properties in Edinburgh under her name. Wen Qiao raised his eyebrows. Xiao Lianjun had so many properties, but only 2 houses in Edinburgh were registered under his wife's name. This showed that he didn't want people to know that he had a house in Edinburgh, or at least that he had a guilty conscience. She had no intention of prying into other people's privacy, nor would she expose the secrets he had carefully guarded to the public. If she didn't have to, if she didn't want to save her life, she wouldn't check these things. I already have the address of his house in Edinburgh. I'm going to fly there in the next 2 days. I'll accompany you. Are you free? Isn't my biggest thing about you. The 2 flew to Edinburgh and went to the neighborhood according to the address Wen Qiao found out. The car drove to the villa. Wen Qiao pointed to a villa with a small swimming pool not far away from the door. That house belongs to Xiao Lianjun. I checked, he owns 2 properties, one is occupied and the other is vacant. Fu Nanli gave her a telescope. Yeah. I never thought that one day, he would become a detective with her. The 2 of them stayed far away, observing the entrance of the villa. After observing for a whole day, they only saw 2 nanny-looking people going out to buy groceries, and no one else was seen. Early the next morning, the 2 came again and kept watch for another day, but still found nothing. Wen Qiao put on a peaked cap and sunglasses, and got out of the car with Fu Nanli. This is an open community. There is a coffee shop outside, and the 2 of them sat inside and drank coffee. It was afternoon time and there were very few people in the cafe, so it was quite leisurely. 2 foreign waitresses were chatting at the bar. That boy made a big fuss here 2 days ago. He has no quality. Well, Asian faces do seem to lack education. I think his brain is not very good, he seems to be out of control. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1367. Wen Qiao waved, and the young waitress came over quickly and said enthusiastically, "What do you need? Can I ask about the boy you're talking about? What do you want to know? The Asian boy you're talking about, how old is he? She looks about 14 or 15 years old. Why is he making such a fuss at your place?" The waiter smiled and felt that this young girl's British English was very authentic, so he liked her a little more, and told her everything. The boy looks like a 14-year-old boy, but he behaves like a child. The servant came with him, and the servant bought him an ice cream. He was sitting down to eat it, but suddenly he accidentally dropped the ice cream on the floor. He became crazy and threw himself on the ground to pick up the ice cream. Where could he pick it up? We were all dumbfounded by the behavior, and were finally taken away by the servants and 2 bodyguards. Wen Qiao thought thoughtfully, does his servant also have an Asian face? He is shorter than me, slightly fatter, and has curly hair. Yes. This is the servant who lives in Xiao Lianjian's villa. She went out to buy groceries today. So there lived a boy of 14 or 15 years old, and according to their description, the boy seemed to be in a bad mood. Wen Qiao didn't stay in Edinburgh for long. If she took the liberty to look for someone else, Xiao Lianjun and Yao Kewen would be angry. It would also be impolite. After Wen Qiao and Fu Nanli returned to Haikan, she began to check Yao Kewen's medical records in Edinburgh. If the baby was really born, it could not have been given at home. This investigation actually led her to find out that Yao Kewen had a medical record at an obstetrics and gynecology hospital in Edinburgh 14 years ago. Wen Qiao felt that the situation was quite clear. Yao Kewen had a relationship with Xiao Lianjun, and she was already with her current husband at that time. Because Yao Kewen longed for a wealthy family, she probably made the last desperate move, braving the danger of her career being suspended, and gave birth to a son for Xiao Lianjun. As for why he failed to enter a wealthy family even though his son was born, Wen Qiao thought, is it because the child was born abnormally? That kind of mental illness doesn't seem to show up right after birth. Perhaps it was because of her background that the Xiao family couldn't let her in. She found that even if she had a son, she couldn't enter a wealthy family, so she gave up and quickly obtained the certificate with her boyfriend. Wen Qiao raised her eyebrows, sympathizing with her current husband for a second. Ms. Yao is a little unkind. And that child was also very pitiful. He became a tool for his mother to calculate fame and fortune. Moreover, in the end, this tool did not realize the value it should have. In the end, he was still ill. His father didn't want it, and his mother didn't want it. He was thrown into a villa thousands of miles away. Only servants accompany me. Fu Nanli came out of the bedroom after taking a shower, wiped his hair, and sat next to her. How was it? If nothing else, the boy who is 14 or 15 years old is the son of Yao Kewen and Xiao Lianjun. Yeah. Well, Yao Kewen had a medical record at the Edinburgh Obstetrics and Gynecology Department. 4 months later, she returned to Haikan. 3 months later, she married her current husband. She probably gave birth to a son but was not recognized by Xiao Lianjun. She give up. Fu Nanli nodded, yeah. Xiao Lianjun had a hidden fourth son, but Xiao Lianjun hid him very well. Because Yao Kewen was a star, she had an illegitimate son who was born behind her husband's back, so it was even more impossible for him to be exposed. We'll continue to update at noon. Thank you for your support. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1368. Fu Nanli touched her head. Don't worry, I will have a lot of contact with Xiao Lianjun later to see if there is a chance to find a breakthrough. Don't worry about this. Wen Qiao sighed, how dare I be anxious? This matter involved many people and the child's health. She didn't want to expose the matter, she just wanted the child to donate some blood to her smoothly. Every family has its own scriptures that are difficult to recite, and she doesn't want to interfere with other people's affairs. Wen Qiao planned to let her attack Yao Kewen while Fu Nanli went to attack Xiao Lianjun. Before that, there is another important thing, that is, Gu Xiao's birthday is coming soon. In the past half year, Wen Qiao has subtly instilled a lot of ideas into the old man. Now that his identity is revealed, the old man will probably turn a blind eye. I plan to give him a big gift on his birthday. Wen Qiao breathed a sigh of relief. After so many years, his wish has been fulfilled. Gu Xiao's birthday was July 12th in the morning. His grandmother cooked him a bowl of longevity noodles. Neither his brother nor Wen Qiao had expressed any intention or invitation before, and it was hard for him to ask to celebrate his birthday with his brother. Grandma Gu said happily, why are you so depressed during your birthday? Nothing. Is it because your brother didn't say he wanted to give you something? How come? Grandma Gu saw it and said nothing. Gu Xiao spared the whole day and waited at home until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Neither his brother nor Wen Qiao called him. He thought it was probably because they didn't know his birthday. At 5 o'clock, his cell phone rang. Fu Nanli called and asked if he was at home. He pretended to be calm and said he was. A car will pick you up soon. Dress more formally. After hanging up the phone, Gu Xiao was confused. Should he dress more formally? How formal should it be? Just as he was wondering, a black Bentley parked outside the yard, and a middle-aged man got out of the car, carrying a suit. The man handed the suit to him with a smile. Mr. Fu asked you to put it on. On a hot day, Although Gu Xiao was puzzled, he still put on the well-made suit and tied it with a Windsor knot according to his brother's request. Grandma Gu looked at King Jun's young man with mixed feelings. The young man had grown up, and the shadows in his eyebrows gradually dissipated, giving him a sunny and cheerful feeling. She would like to thank the young master of the Fu family and Xiao Wen. After Gu Xiao got in the car, another car picked up Grandma Gu. Gu Xiao felt a little uncomfortable sitting in the car. He had never dressed so formally before. The neon lights outside the window gradually receded. He didn't know where this car was taking him. 40 minutes later, the car parked next to a cruise ship at the airport. The huge cruise ship parked quietly at the port. From time to time, luxury cars stopped outside. The guests were all in formal attire, and there seemed to be many reporters and media people. Qinbei greeted Gu Xiao outside the cruise ship. Gu Xiao called Qinbei brother, and Qinbei led him into the atrium of the cruise ship. Only then did Gu Xiao realize that the atrium was crowded with guests. Many of them he knew were political and business celebrities in Haikan, as well as many popular stars. This was also the cruise ship dinner that Lu Yuyu lied to Yao Kewen about hosting, and Fu Nanli just used it to disclose Gu Xiao's identity to the public. Gu Xiao was led up to the second floor and into the private room. His brother was talking to Wen Qiao with their heads down. When he saw him coming in, he waved to him, "Sit down. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me." Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1369. His brother was also dressed very formally, with a suit and tie, and his hair slicked back, giving off a bossy vibe, while Wen Qiao was wearing a midnight serenade-style dress, looking beautiful and fresh. "Brother, what is the occasion tonight?" Fu Nanli held the champagne in his hand and said in a calm voice, "It's just an ordinary dinner. I want you to come and meet someone." "Oh." At 8 o'clock, all the guests arrived, and Fu Nanli took Gu Xiao to the corridor on the second floor of the cruise ship. Standing there, he could overlook all the guests in the entire atrium hall. Qinbei handed the microphone to him. Gu Xiao was still confused and didn't know what his brother was going to do. "Welcome everyone." A voice suddenly came from the microphone, and the guests who were chatting separately focused their attention on the small terrace in the corridor on the second floor, where stood the crown prince of the Fu family and a young boy. "Today is a very important day, it is my brother's 21st birthday." After saying that, he put his big hands on Gu Xiao's shoulders. At that moment, Gu Xiao's mind went blank, his 5 senses seemed to be blocked, he couldn't see or hear clearly, and a buzzing sound swirled around his ears. He felt like he was drowning, unable to breathe free air. He couldn't believe that his brother solemnly and officially recognized his identity in front of the entire Haikan celebrities and the media. He had imagined that he would have the media issue a statement acknowledging his identity, but he never imagined that it would be in such a high-profile manner. When the sea water receded, he seemed to have breathed fresh air, his brain instantly recovered blood, and his 5 senses returned to normal. His brother's voice continued, "For some indescribable reasons, my father gave me a younger brother. The grudges of my previous life, it shouldn't be the responsibility of the children. Gu Xiao is very good, and I have always wanted to have a sibling. Today, Gu Xiao officially enters the Fu family and becomes my younger brother. I hope that people from all walks of life will take good care of him in the future." The flashbulbs in the hands of the reporters downstairs almost went off. They received an invitation saying that they had to announce something important tonight, but they never expected that Mr. Fu would recognize the illegitimate child so simply and directly. They pressed the shutter on their cameras frantically, all wanting to send out this shocking news as soon as possible. Reporters took photos while editing news and sending it to their leaders and editors. Everyone was grabbing headlines. Race against time. Fu Nanli did not publish any long remarks, which was not his style. He just gave a brief introduction. But the key points are all mentioned. This is my brother. I recognize him, which means that he will be a member of the Fu family from now on. You should take more care of him. If anyone still makes a fuss about him being an illegitimate child, they will be at odds with the Fu family and me, Fu Nanli. The expressions of the guests below were all very exciting. This young boy is quite capable. Who is Fu Nanli? He fought away the old fox Gao Liujun and fooled Yuan Qinglang, the second young master of the Yuan family, into the Zhonghuan group in less than 3 years. He has established a firm foothold, and is more skillful than his mother, and not inferior to the old man back then. How could such a cruel and ruthless person accept an illegitimate child to take over the Fu family? Could it be that this boy is better than his predecessor? It's really amazing. Although there was no question and answer session for reporters, Fu Nanli, Wen Qiao and Gu Xiao were still surrounded by a group of reporters when they went downstairs. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1370. Fu Nanli reached out and held Wen Qiao in his arms, looking at the reporters with a serious expression. Qinbei and Song'an dealt with it. I'm sorry, our young master is just announcing the existence of the young master to everyone today. The young master is not familiar with this kind of environment. I hope everyone will not scare the young master. The reporters asked reluctantly, Mr. Fu, what do you think? Why do you want to admit Gu Xiao's existence? Because he is my brother, his surname should be Fu. Fu Nanli was not annoyed at all. One of the reporters was bold and said, I heard that his mother seduced your father back then. How would your mother feel if you recognized him back? Then he saw young Master Fu looking at him with a sinister look in his eyes. The reporter shrank his neck. Others respected him as a good man. Fu Nanli asked, which media do you belong to? The reporter hesitated and did not dare to say anything. Qinbei took down the reporter's appearance and began to investigate. He had clearly told this grandson before he came that the guests and hosts would have a good time tonight and not embarrass their young master. Tell him to get out tomorrow. I said before that the grudges of the previous life should not be placed on the child. His mother has already received the punishment she deserves. Gu Xiao is Gu Xiao and Gu Yunzu is Gu Yunzu. Do you understand, Mr. Reporter? The young reporter was so frightened that he broke out in cold sweat. Mr. Fu's aura was so powerful that ordinary people couldn't resist it. Besides, Mr. Fu doesn't mind. He is an outsider, so if he asks, he is ignorant. Yes, you are so generous. Fu Nanli took Gu Xiao to meet various celebrities, politicians, and business people. Gu Xiao was not an ignorant person. After he calmed down, he was able to be polite and behaved in a manner that did not embarrass his brother. Although many guests had their own little juju in their hearts, when Master Fu brought someone over to introduce him to them, everyone on the surface still praised Gu Xiao in various ways. As expected of a member of the Fu family, he looks like a talented person. I heard that Mr. Fu and I went to the same university before, MIT. He was a proud man. As expected of Master Fu's younger brother. All kinds of compliments came overwhelmingly, and Gu Xiao felt that it was a bit unreal. This day had come like this. He didn't even have time to prepare mentally, and he was introduced to Manshija by his brother. Many reporters came, and the online world outside has probably changed. After Wen Qiao followed him for a round of toasts, he returned to the private room, turned on his phone, and saw that almost all of the top 10 hot searches were occupied by the Fu family's bombshell news. Master Fu admitted that Gu Xiao is a member of the Fu family. This news ranked first on the hot search list, followed by the word Bo, which was all related to the Fu family. Some people revealed Gu Xiao's life experience, and some about Fu Nanli's past. It was also revealed that Fu Nanli was studying at MIT and Gu Xiao was studying at MIT. In short, the two brothers suddenly became the subject of heated discussions across the internet. Fu Cheng greeted the media and the platform in advance. The Fu family's public relations department was fully prepared to prevent online comments from developing to their disadvantage. The Fu family's public relations department is as good as the legal department. With them in charge, Fu Nanli is not worried. Gu Xiao sat on the sofa opposite him and said with tears in his eyes, "Brother, thank you." Fu Nanli said, "From now on, my surname will be Fu." Gu Xiao nodded, "Yeah, okay. Someone will take you to the police station tomorrow to change your name. Xiao is a good word, so let's call it Fu Xiao."